Hello everybody, Walter here. Welcome to episode 32 of my Astronaut included Let's Play series with the Space DLC. In the previous episode we set up a research reactor to power our second colony, and today I would like to make use of the radiation it produces to do some nuclear farming. But before I get to that, I would like to get actually one of my dupes into proper space. So without further ado, let's jump back into the game and have a look. And here we are back at the research reactor from last time. Still running smoothly, producing a lot of heat, but also lots and lots of radiation, which we are going to make use of quite soon. But before that, as I said, I would like to get my first astronaut. So let's jump over to Beno and let's start building a simple rocket in this area here, which is already protected from meteorite strikes. Because if we go on the star map, you can see over here, there's already the next meteor strike coming in, and that means we're going to have to make use of those bunker doors pretty soon. Now, to get a rocket, I'm going to need a rocket platform, and since rocketry tends to be a bit warm, I'm going with steel, and I'm going to place it here. Now, when a rocket starts, it also produces a lot of heat below it, and this heat will actually get into the area down here. So I might as well make sure this area here is evacuated. So I'm going to put like so, this area here into a capsule, and then once those blocks here have been removed, I can evacuate this entire chamber and won't have to worry about my entire base broiling away. Now, while my tubes are working on that, there is one more thing I would like to do in the intermediate time, which I have been wanting to do for a while now, and that is getting the Radbolt generator here running again. Now, that isn't overly hard. All I need to do is close this off, but as you can see over here with the liquid nuclear waste, occasionally the Radbolt actually hits a dupe that is running through here at the wrong time. And I have a similar situation over here, where when the diamond press is full and the Radbolt comes in, it will actually travel further and might hit a dupe that's traveling through the transit tube. So in those two spots, I need to make sure that no dupe comes by, which means I unfortunately need to get rid of some of the decoration. And then I just need to make sure my dupes can't get from one side to the other. And down here, the Radbolts won't hit the dupes, which shouldn't be too hard. Over here, all I need to do is actually put in a door hovering above the ground, and then just disallowing my dupes from traveling through. And down there, all I need is a Radbolt reflector going upwards, and that's already the entire secret. Now, while I'm here, I might as well consider putting in some light in this spot. And do I have a spot down here where I could put any lighting? Potentially there, but yeah, I'll leave it out. Doesn't really make much of a difference here. The limiting factor for the diamond press are still the Radbolts. So that is this part done, and over here I'm just going to make sure my dupes can't get through, and that's already the entire secret. Very simple indeed. And there is still a lot of debris lying around, so I might as well give some more cleaning orders. Now, with that handled, let's have a look at the top there. Over here there are still a few things I would like to do. The first is replacing the gold with steel, because as I already mentioned, rocketry can get a bit on the warm side. That's the first. Then the same for the automation, since we also have some automation wire waiting here. And I should just make sure that all of that can actually handle the temperatures. The signal switch as well. Change the material over to steel, and then order the rebuild. And yeah, and once all of those have been replaced, I can get rid of those ladders here, so I have actually space for my rocket. And due to the gap over here, I decided to add one more bunker door. But now it's time for our rocket, and I'm going to start with a carbon dioxide engine, since I only really need to get into orbit and not really far on the star map. Then on top of that, I need a solar module, and finally I need a solo spacefarer nose cone, which means that I now have all I need for a mini research rocket. I still need to access everything. So I'm going to grab myself one ladder, place it here, and then everything should be in reach. Now, I still need a couple other things to bring here. First, I need the fuel, which in this case is just carbon dioxide, and this I can get from down here. And then, yeah, let's go through here, over and then up. I also will need some water for the nose cone, and that will have to go and come from down here. So let's grab ourselves a little bit of a bridge, and then I'm just going to bring this up here. And that should be pretty much all I'm going to need for the outside of the rocket. Now let's have a quick look at the interior of the rocket. So first I need to get rid of the control station. It's simply in the way. Then I will need a toilet for my Dupe, which goes in this spot, the only spot where it actually fits. It will need some water, which comes from up here. So let's just snake this pipe through the entire thing, and let's just go with a simple solution like this here. There should be well enough water for whatever I am going to do with this. Then let's put in a bit of a ceiling, so I can put in a storage bin here. Then I'm going to need a refrigerator right there. I will also need under stations the orbital data collection lab, which goes here, which will need some power. So I need a power fitting right there. Then some power wire connecting the two. Now with that out of the way, let's replace it in the correct spot right here. And then in this last spot I can fit in a bed, namely a ladder bed, which doubles as a ladder, so my dupes can actually reach the spot at the top there. And once all of this here is built, I can put in some food through the refrigerator, then get rid of it and replace it with another storage bin so I can get some oxalate in here. And we are about ready to launch. We now have food, we have oxalate for oxygen, and we also have plastic for our data banks. And I should actually turn on the lab for that. Now, in case you're wondering what is going to happen with the carbon dioxide, there is a little deletion trick in there. If you have a minute amount of carbon dioxide traveling over oxalate, the oxalate will off-gas and destroy the carbon dioxide that way. So I don't really need to bother with that. Now, with that all in place, let's get this rocket into space. First, I will need access to space. I will also need a destination, which is for now just near orbit. And then I will also need a crew, namely Max as our pilot. Now I'm just going to speed this up a bit. And once all in this launch checklist here is cleared, I will be able to actually launch this rocket. And there we go. Max is on the way. All the way to the top of the map. And should actually start on the research, at least once we are actually in orbit and are getting solar power. Very nice to see that. And we also unlocked an achievement, which is the space race. Launch your first rocket into space. Very nice to see that. And now let's just close off the door here before any meteorite destroys anything in here and we would have to report it. Now, with that out of the way, let's get over here and start on our farming setups. So I have two things I would like to do. The first is building my tower here for, well, the temperature control. And the second one is getting some natural plants in here. So I will need, first of all, a pneumatic door over here. Then I will need to get a pip in there. And then, since those here are for sleetweed, I will need to get some sleetweed over from my main asteroid, because I've already moved everything that was over here to my main asteroid. And there we go. The pip should now start with the planting of those sleetweeds here. Took a little while, but now this should run in the background and we can concentrate a bit more here on our temperature tower. The first thing I would like to do is add a layer of metal tiles at the bottom, and since it's good at temperature transfer and I have it, I'm going with aluminum. Then on top of that, I'm going to need a liquid tapidizer right here. Then 2 thermosensors on either side. The left one is connected here. Then I have one going up there. I have also one going up there. One connection down here and all the way to the side. Then I'm going to add an AND gate right here. Now for power. I have my power wire going straight over here. Connecting down there. I also need to disconnect here. And then I can run this wire here and then up to somewhere around here. I will need a layer of watt in there once all of it is in place. But I'm also going to need a couple radiant pipes. Again, I'm going with aluminum. And they will go over here to the side. Then insulated pipes. And how it continues over there, we will do some work on later. But for now, I need to get this in and also the water. So I just had a look at our rocket, and it appears that Max has a bit of a problem with radiation. He has already the minor radiation sickness, and he's actually building up more ruts each cycle because he's spending his time up here where we are at 180 ruts per cycle, and a dupe can only really handle up to 100 per cycle without medication, which I don't have here. So the fix shouldn't be overly hard. And down here I'm at 68, so that would be safe. So all I need to do is basically switch those two out, move the floor a bit up, and that would be all. But I don't actually have all of the materials to do that. And I am also somewhat running low on oxalite, so I think I'm actually going to land this rocket here back on Abeno. The bunker doors have already been opened in the background. And now let's just return with the rocket to Albano. And any second now it should be back in place. And now I'm just going to get some more oxalite in here and switch those two out. And one cycle later, the rocket is now properly rebuilt. I even squeezed in some more decoration. And with that fixed, let's get the rocket back into orbit. And launch. And there we go. That should be all we need for the rocket to run properly. And now we should see, well, once we start the order, Max creating more data packs. Very nice to see that. And now we can continue over here with our temperature tower. With the water in place, it's time for a couple mechanized airlocks out of aluminum ore. Just going to place them there, and I totally forgot about the temp shift plates. Let's actually go with aluminum for those two, one here and one there. And let's increase the priority like so. And then we need the next floor of aluminum tiles. Now before I forget about it a second time, let's place those here. Now, thermosensor here and there, and then in this spot later on, so I will have to clean out all of this here. Although, let's wait with that until the floor is in, so we don't get any debris in there. So, anyway, I need some more automation. So, let's continue with that. I need one over here, one there, then one up there, and then finally a line going all the way over there. Then an AND gate, right here. And a bridge there. Then some power, which I can grab from over here. And now a couple of pipes. Radiant pipes through here. Then for now I will connect over there and later on over there. I need to get over here and over here. And then I just need to use this here as the cooling loop for this entire area here. So let's see. That should work, I hope. And let's actually go with granite for this, since it has a better transmission coefficient. So done. And then I just need to go up, over, and connect with this one over there. That looks good. And once all of this here is built, I can put in another wall here and again 6 tons of water. And now it's time for another layer of mechanized airlocks. Again with increased priority, because we are once more putting a layer of metal tiles on top. Then, before I forget about it, the thermosensor and the temp shift plates. I'm also going to put in again a raised wall here, and this time I will put in 6 tons of polluted water, since this will be for sub-zero temperatures. But I'm not done yet. I still need a couple of radiant pipes going all the way over there, connecting here. Then I have my return pipe going down here, and that will be actually the cooling loop for this system here. I will work on this in a moment. But on this side I also have the cooling loop for this side here. And all of this here will make sense at a later point. For now, just bear with me. And let's get this done. So let's first go over here. Then I'm just going over, then back, and then one final loop over here. That should be all I need over there. Then let's put in a liquid bridge here, and this should be the correct orientation, I think. Let's see, over there and over there. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, just need to make sure everything runs in the proper direction. And once the saving is done, we are going to have a look to this chamber here. As you can see, I have now all of the sleetweed in place and already removed those temporary tiles in between the farm blocks. So let's do something with the space, namely let's put in the missing auto sweepers right on top and below the loaders. And once those are in place, this chamber is basically done, but I still need to keep them open so I can actually get to those chambers here at the bottom. And that should be the last of the polluted water up there. So I can now go ahead and close this off with a layer of metal tiles with radiant pipes on the inside. Then let's increase the priority, because I'm going to put a layer of insulated tiles on top. And then here to the side. This will be a steam chamber. So I'm going to need an aqua tuner right there. Then the thermo pipe sensor connected with some automation wire. While we're on the subject of wire, I'm going to need some power. And that will go through the floor here, up there, and up there, I believe. Yeah, that should work out quite nicely. Then I am still missing some pipes and a liquid vent right in there. A couple bridges here. And then I can go in here and then out there, up. Then I'm cooling in the steam turbine, going down, closing the loop. Then up here, and the steam turbine has its output there. And now I can set the proper temperatures. So this one here should be when I'm above -2 degrees. This one here when I'm again above, this time -5 degrees. And that way this area should be between those two temperatures. Similarly, I want to be between 25 and 27 degrees here. So this should be below 27. And this one here should be above 25 degrees. Then finally down here I want to be between 38 and I want to remain below 50 degrees. So that should all work out quite nicely. Now I'm actually going to cut off the connection here for now, because the next step is building the rest of this cooling loop here. Now one thing you might have noticed, I already changed the way this pipe here is going. Earlier it went up on the right side, now I'm moving it on the left side, because that way I can easily snake this through here, up there, And then I can just go up here. You know what? Let's go down. And then put a liquid vent in there. And when I need to change the liquid going through here, I can just reconnect here and then get rid of the liquid that's currently in there. Now, that is the feed line for the farms. Now I need the cooling loop. And that will go down here. Then over here. Up and over. And then here, basically the same. And that should be pretty much all I am going to need. And then I can just reconnect up there. That should work. Now let's see. I need to go in this direction. Then over here and over here. And the last one goes over here. And that's all of the cooling loops. Now the next step, once this is done, is filling this loop here and this loop here with polluted water. And then I need to make some minute changes to the actual connections in those pipes here. So the pipes are now all properly filled, and it's time to separate this big loop here into several smaller ones. So each loop has actually only one temperature. For that I'm going to actually stop the time for now, and I'm going to start at the high temperature, which I don't need at the moment at all. Then the intermediate temperature I only need in this area here. And the low temperature I'm actually only going to need over here, but not in this area here. So now I still need to close a couple loops, namely here and here, and then over here. And if I now restart the time, you can see the middle temperature over here and the low temperature down here. And I actually should put in some insulation here as long as I'm dealing with the low temperatures. And pretty soon, at least once I actually power everything in here, I should see this here starting to cool down. And with that also all of this here. And what am I going to do in here? Well, I'm going to do nuclear farming. So I'm searching for the tiles that are in the highest radiation. And then I will use them to produce mutants. And the first one I'm going for are those nosh sprouts here. I already have 9 over here, but there are also a couple more over here. So I'm just going to plant them in the spots with the highest radiation. So 20 nosh sprouts should be definitely enough. The rest can be moved over to the main base again. I also remembered why I spaced my auto sweepers this close together, because I originally already planned putting a storage tile here in this spot. And that way I can put my fertilizer in there. There are still 2 things I need to deal with before I actually start providing ethanol. One is the atmosphere, because nosh sprout needs carbon dioxide, and currently at least this layer doesn't have yet a complete layer. But I'm working on it. As you can see, I have a lot of frozen carbon dioxide just waiting until it's actually thawed up, and then I should have definitely enough in there. And the temperature is also being dealt with over there. So that is all going quite nicely, and pretty soon I should be able to actually start this up and also get a couple crops being tended to. I might actually want to get into the skills for that and give my dupes the corresponding skills. So then I run, and that should be pretty much all I want over here. So those can be put to good use. Now, the next step is putting in something to automate the harvesting of Beeta Hives. And I'm going with a design by Typical Marine. I will put a link in the description for that, which is rather nice and very compact. But it's the first time I'm building this, so I'm learning as I do. And for this design, I'll need to get in here and start with a floor. And this floor needs to be at, let me think, I need 3, then another 3, and then at this height here I need 9 wide floor, so up to here, and then I need to go up. And then I can also remove all of this here. And once all of that is in place, I can continue putting in some more stuff in there, although I might as well start with a couple metal tiles in those corners. And a tabitizer right in the middle there, with a thermal sensor right on top there. And then connect this one here. And I might as well also already run a wire all the way from down here to up here. And then over here for now. Although, let's see, I will have a floor here, so then let's place it like that. Now I can grab myself a couple more metal tiles, place 3 here, and then raise this here a bit. And the step after that is filling this with a bit of water until I have a layer that is more than half full at this height here. But we have a bit of a problem. We have ladders broken, and I already searched around and found this thing here, which means that we have actually a meteorite strike going through the entire base, hitting this layer down here, which is a bit of a problem since it now also released this cool steam vent here. So I have to very quickly do something about this. So for now I'm just going to put in a layer of bunker tiles, which means I'm going to need some more steel. Just going to run this all the way over here. And then I'm also going to maybe even build the proper tamer for this cool steam vent in a similar vein as I did already a couple times over here, for example. So it's been 24 cycles and a lot has happened. For one, the tamer here is basically done. All that's left is, well, analyzing the steam vent. But since it's currently dormant, that is not overly urgent. But as you might have noticed, I went a bit higher with the bunker tiles, because I was noticing more and more spaces over in this area that were just waiting for a meteorite to punch through. So I decided to go a bit higher and just top off my entire base. I'm still working on this area here, but for the most part this is done. And I'm also putting in an insulation layer, because when the meteorites strike, it's going to be somewhat warm on the outside. So, but the main reason I stopped right now is Max is done with the plastic. We have all of the data banks we're going to need. So let's get over to Albano and let's have a look. Yep, that is all cleaned out. And we can now send Max back to Earth. Oh, or Albano. And yeah, obviously Ellie is going to be steamed a little bit, but we are now done with this rocket. So I'm going to close this one here. And then I'm actually going to destroy the entire rocket since it's no longer needed. And as well the rocket platform. And just a little bit later we have finally finished with our research for the Radbold propulsion. So we can now use the Radbold engine. Very nice to see that. I'm still doing a little bit of cleanup over here, but for the most part we are done. I also put in an obsidian layer, so I'm keeping the shaft walls out of my base. But besides of that, we are essentially done with the rocketry in this area here. And soon we are going to build a proper rocket silo. But with that said, let's have a quick look over to Duplicants. So, yeah, the top layer is basically done, so I might as well put in the insulation layer over here. And while I'm here, I might as well, for now, close off the top there, so I'm not losing too much atmosphere. At some point, I'm going to put in some kind of airlock. But for now, I should concentrate really on cleanup of this entire area here, which is going to take a good amount of time, especially with all of the liquids spilled throughout the entire base. And that is definitely something I'm going to do in the next episode. Now over here, this is also still going to take a while. So I think the last thing for today is setting a new research target, which will be the drill cone, so I can get to the materials of the points of interest on the space map. And that brings us to the actual end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share and comment if you did so. It really helps with the algorithm. Independent of that, I wish you a nice day and well, see you.